normal earrings that are just like, you know, a post, and then they have the and they have the thing that goes on. Fuck me. Okay. Hello my lovely little mourning doves. Welcome back to my channel. So this is actually the second time I filmed this video because I filmed it once and it was like, I had like 50 minutes of footage and none of it was good. So this is going to be coming at you a little later than I wanted, but I'm only posting like once a month anyways, so I figure what was another week or so. So yeah, today I'm going to talk about piercings and all of the piercings that I have and have had and might have in the future. Past and present are going to be a little bit mixed up because some of the piercings that I currently have, I have had for a very long time, and intermixed in there were some piercings that I had and then did not keep, and then we'll talk about piercings that I would like to get. So let's get right on in with basic lobe piercings. When I was in the 4th grade and I was with my mom and my aunt and my cousins, and my mom was like, yo, you want to get your ears pierced? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why the fuck not? Because that's what people did. People had their ears pierced. I put like no thought into it. I just thought like, yeah, that would be cool. So, as with most people in my generation, and probably in the current generations, we went to Claire's, and I got a totally random person with a little piercing gun to just pierce my ears, and it didn't hurt at all. There was, you know, there was no pain really besides the initial pinch. They healed very well, fortunately. I kept them relatively clean. I wouldn't say I was the most dependable kid, but obviously nothing went super wrong. I still have them to this day, which makes them like, oh gosh, over a decade easily. So yeah, and I also am fortunate in that I didn't wear piercings or like jewelry in those for a very long time. I went through this phase where I was like, I don't like any of that like girly shit. Actually, the biggest reason that I decided not to wear earrings for a very long time was because normal earrings are like a post, and then they have the back that you push onto the post, but the post sticks through. So you have this little bar of metal that, say you were to lay down or something, is now stabbing into your neck. And I hated that. And like dangly earrings were even worse. Like you can't sleep in hook earrings that are dangling because they, you know, they'll fall out while you're sleeping, and they can poke you too and stuff. So like I just got really annoyed with the whole thing. I just wanted to like throw something in there and leave it in forever, because I'd never changed my piercings. And so for a very long time I went without wearing them at all. And by some stroke of luck or whatever, like biology, my ears didn't close up. They didn't heal up. I retained my piercings even after, like, I could easily say a year or more of not wearing jewelry at all. Fast forward to my first year of college, and I was like, I was starting to kind of get into the alternative scene. I was starting to think like, man, I'm really into all this stuff where I'm like accessorizing and wearing makeup all of a sudden, and I like this dark stuff. And one thing that a lot of alternative people have is piercings. So my natural progression was like, well, I have one in each ear, like, let's throw another one in there. And that is how this guy was born, this little middle child over here. My kind of rationale was, my mom got her ears pierced by her mother, as did all of my aunts, as did a lot of people in her generation, because, like, you didn't have a piercing kiosk at the mall, okay? You had your mom, and you had a sewing needle, and you had a potato, and you went to town, Parent Trap style. So, I was gonna do that too. So I, like, you know, I did enough research. I cleaned everything very well. I did try to be, like, remotely, like, sanitary about it. And yeah, I you know, shoved a sewing needle through my ear. Went totally fine. Really didn't hurt that much, although I consider myself to have like a relatively high pain tolerance. And yeah, it was totally awesome, and I really liked it. And that was the start of a long and slippery slope. So, after middle child over here, I believe my next piercing was that I tried to pierce my cartilage. Now, I will say that I wised up a little bit. I did some research. I bought myself some piercing needles on Amazon, because you can do that. And I was more careful about the whole thing. I bought some jewelry for my cartilage piercing. It was just a little, I think it was a 1/4 inch barbell, and if you know anything about piercing, you'll already know why this is gonna go wrong. It was a 1/4 inch barbell with just a ball on each side, and I pierced my cartilage, which nipped a bit. Okay, that one hurt a little bit worse than, you know, a lobe piercing, but I did it, and I put in my jewelry, and within an hour or so, my ear was so swollen. And because the barbell that I had ordered was only about 1/4 inch long, that swelling had nowhere to go. There was no room, and it just started engulfing the little barbell that was in there, and just scared the shit out of me, because I was like, this is gonna just like eat my piercing, and I'm gonna have to go to the fucking doctor and have them like cut it out or something. And I freaked out, and I took it out, and I just let it heal. And as soon as I took it out, the swelling started going down. Everything was fine. I let it heal up. I don't even have a scar. So a while after that, I decided, oh gosh, what did I have? Okay, so I had 3 piercings at that point, and I always had this weird thing where I had to keep like an odd number going on. So I believe after that, I put another one in this ear. So I still only had 1 piercing in this ear, but I decided to throw this little guy in. This is just lobe. My cartilage doesn't start until about here-ish. So this was still lobe piercing, very easy, very painless, very clean, no problems. Shortly after that, I went for this little guy on this side, except, I don't know, oh wait, can I show you? I don't know if you'll be able to see, but see that little bump there? Yeah, I pierced that side, and for like a year I wore it, even though I had pierced it so off. It was so wrong. Like, you could tell that this side was like, okay, those are nice, like those are pretty lined up, looks good. This side, it was like, that's normal, what the fuck happened? But because I had gone through the trouble of shoving a freaking needle through my ear, I was like, I'm not giving up on it, I'm gonna wear it. So I wore it for like a year. And then I was like, okay, this is stupid. If I let it heal up, I can put a new one in. So I took it out, I let that heal up for quite a while until it was completely healed. It is still scarred because I left it in for so long, even when it was poorly placed. And then I put in this one. This one is much better aligned, and it healed just fine, as any of my earlobe piercings did, and I'm much happier with it now. So at the very least, I fixed it in the end. The next piercing after that would be this cartilage piercing. So this time I had much better jewelry. So I got the little flat-backed screw-on piercing or jewelry for that, and I got it in a much larger size so that when it inevitably swelled, it had somewhere to go, and the healing process went beautifully. Shocker, I know. It did take quite a lot longer to heal than any of my lobe piercings, which is very consistent with cartilage piercings. That's just how it usually goes. It definitely was more painful. It was kind of hard to sleep on that side, that sort of thing. If you bump it or like mess with it too much, it can definitely get re-irritated. Even now, if I sleep on it wrong, I'll have like a sore ear for a day or so, but for the most part, it is very, very healed, and I have no issues with it at all, and I really, really like it. I like hanging a little safety pin from it. So after I graduated, and then I was like, you know what? I'm finally gonna do it. I'm finally gonna have that lip piercing, because I really, really wanted it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it now. When I decided that I was finally going to get my lip pierced, it very much became a, I've decided I'm going to get my lip pierced, I'm gonna do it right now. So I got my piercing needle, and I always have like a vegetable or apple or some kind of hard fruit or vegetable of some sort to back to catch the needle with. I put a dot on my lip with a completely not clean marker that I just had laying around to make sure that it was centered, and I shoved a needle through my lip. And I wore one of these little acrylic-backed, flat-backed Labret piercings in there while it was healing. I also highly suggest, if you are getting any kind of lip piercing and you plan on wearing a straight piece of jewelry in it, that it is one of these. This is acrylic, or bioplast, I believe it's called, but it is flexible, and it is not going to break your teeth if you bite it on accident. And then I switched out to my barbell. So I do have just a Labret piercing, as you can see. I pierced it pretty well below my lip. Let's see if I can. That's the inside. And I have a horseshoe barbell on that. Because it is curved out and away, it doesn't come into contact with my teeth unless I'm making really weird faces. So I don't bite it, I don't have it rubbing on my gums or anything like that. The next piercing that I had done was my belly button. So I'm going to stand up and show it to you first, and then I'll come back down and talk about it. So this is my belly button piercing. One thing you may have noticed is that it's a little bit crooked. Well, that happens when you pierce yourself sometimes, especially if you don't have the proper equipment. So yes, my belly button piercing is a little bit crooked, but I have decided that it is not enough to bother me. I still think it looks really cute, and it doesn't cause any issue for me, so I didn't care. This was one of those things where I was sitting around and I was like, you know what sounds fun right now? Getting another piercing. Avon was around and I was like, cool, let's do that. So he held the tweezers, and when I say tweezers, I mean like some of this shit, to help kind of hold the skin out, and I put the needle through. That one was probably, I would say, the most painful. Because all the times I've pierced myself, it has been rather slow. It wasn't just like a quick shove the needle through thing, which definitely, I think, kind of ups the pain level there because it's not a quick experience. The belly button was doubly so because there was more skin to get through. I was trying really hard to keep the needle straight. I had somebody else like holding my skin for me so that it was an absolute clusterfuck. If I have any of these to say that like it was a dumb as fuck idea to do that, it's that one. Like, it healed so fast and so well, and I've had it for well over a year, and it hasn't started to grow out at all, which is definitely a thing that can happen with surface piercings, especially if they aren't pierced well, and especially in mobile areas like your stomach. Yeah, the fact that I've had no issues with that is like a bloody frickin' miracle. And so now we'll talk about my last piercing, and that is my nose here. This is my most recent. I honestly can't tell you exactly how long ago it's been, but less than a year for sure on my nose ring here. And this one's fun. I shoved a freaking stalk of broccoli up my nose and, you know, shoved a hole in it. I did like stop halfway through because it hurts a lot, and it does that thing where like your eye tears up because of the prickly feeling in your nose. So, yeah, I stopped like halfway through, pulled the needle out, and was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna do it. I'll just like let the little cut heal and be fine. And then I was like, bitch, no, you started this and you're gonna finish it. So then I like shoved it through again. So it did, initially it looked a little weird. It wasn't a perfect hole. There was like a slight cut and then a hole, which again, like, this sounds horrifying, I'm sure, to people who actually know what they're doing. But it healed beautifully, as did all of my, I honestly have been so lucky that all of my piercings have healed absolutely beautifully. I've had no issues with them. And once it was healed, I put the barbell in. I wore a straight piercing in it until it was fully healed, and then I put in this little hoop, which I really like. It's very subtle, and very cute. So the last piercing thing I want to talk about, that I keep forgetting until the very end of the video, is these. What are these weird looking things I have in my ears? These are gauges. I'm stretching my ears out, and I'm doing that with this nice little pack that I got on Amazon, which essentially, I believe it started at a 12 gauge and it goes up to a 10 millimeter. So I'm currently at a 4 millimeter, which is, oh gosh, if I can show you very well, this size. It's not very big. And I have all of the equipment to go up to a 10 millimeter, which is that size. I don't plan on going any bigger than that ever. I also am just not a big fan of really large gauged ears, and I honestly wouldn't see myself ever going more than the size of, say, a nickel, maybe even a dime. So yeah, that is my experience with piercings, past and present. Let's look to the future, shall we? It's 2019. What will I do now? At present, I really don't have any plans to get any piercings, mainly because I'm broke as hell. I won't put it past myself to get more needles in the future because I would like to put more piercings in my ears. There's lots of real estate going on up there, and, you know, just like, fuck me up fam kind of a mentality. I've got lots of room to play. So I definitely could see myself doing that sometime, but at the moment it is not a priority. It's not something that I'm very interested in. The only piercing that I have had in mind for a while that I still really want, that I do plan on getting at some point in the future when I have money, I really want to get my nipples pierced. I think it's super, super cute. I think it's very attractive. And I really like that. And I'm very much looking forward to doing it. I'm terrified of how much it's gonna hurt because I know it will. And I promise you, for realsies, I would never do this myself. And I highly suggest that unless you are a freaking professional, that you do not either. Because you can lose sensation and you can really fuck yourself up. And I've done some dumb shit, but that is something that I would not touch. So that is all for future piercings. I really don't have any other things that I'm like just burning to get done. I do really like facial piercings. I really like body piercings. Dermals, like subdermal implants, is definitely something that I would consider in the future, again, if I had the means to do so, because I think that subdermals on, say, the collarbone or down the sternum are so pretty. But I also kind of am terrified of getting them caught on like clothes and stuff and ripping them out. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that you have liked hearing my weird stories of all the crap I've done to myself. I would like to know, do you have any piercings? If so, where, how many, all that jazz? And do you have any fun stories about it? Did you get like, do you have any like, I love freaking like piercing nightmare stories with like piercing guns and stuff. That shit is so fucked up. So yeah, if you've got any like piercing horror stories, or if you've pierced yourself and you want to tell me about it, I would love to hear about that in the comment section below. As always, all of my social media will also be below in the description. That will include my Patreon, and I believe Amazon wish lists, if I can figure out how to put them on there, because I do have Amazon wish lists for things like tattoo equipment and makeup for like special effects and things like that, or just clothes and household things that would be nice to have. So if you're looking to support in a way and you would like to just like send me a little gift, that would also be very much appreciated. Other than that, it will all be social media links. Those are definitely the best ways to kind of follow me from day to day. I post a lot more there than I do here, obviously, although for 2019, one of my goals is to post at least once a month, if not once every other week. Once every week has always been kind of a struggle for me, especially now living on my own and having a job that I do every single day and all that jazz. But I do plan on posting more here there's anything you would like to see, please let me know. I love hearing from you guys. If you just want to chat or like talk, shoot the shit, whatever, get a hold of me on any of my social media. I am very responsive. I always answer comments, questions, things like that. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you in the next one. And I hope you are having a lovely week and or weekend. Bye.